Okay, we're back. Welcome everyone. 3x5 presents. I'm the three, he's the five. Christopher Mark, Maury Batik, WandaVision, episode 3. The name
Now
of episode
in
3
color.
is.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Now in color.
Now in color. That's the name of the episode. Thank you. We see we're on the same wavelength, Paul. We're on the same wavelength.
Bingo,
Just
sir.
a slightly different approach to it, but you know, that's how we do, and
Yes,
that's
sir.
all good. Now in color.
Now in color.
Now in color, and okay, but that's what we'll start. It's in color now.
Yes, sir.
Um, and the set we talked about set designs. We just had a conversation about it. I got all of what show? Come on,
Brady Bunch.
Brady Bunch.
Brady
Yes,
Bunch. That is
we
the
don't
that
even
is
get the
the
intro.
quick. I couldn't. It was funny when I was thinking about it, I was like, what other sitcoms do I remember from the '70s?
Right.
And I think the only other ones I did were ones that were off the different vibe. They were like the Norman Lear, when we started getting into the almost the '80s, All in the Family, Good Times,
Right.
So it
Right.
was like this isn't that. This is
Early.
shag rug and bad
Right.
hair and bell
Right.
bottom '70s. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, man.
yeah,
And again, and interesting you say that. There's the landscape for television shows in the '70s was much broader, like you said, and probably, and I don't even know the like you said, the Norman Lears, the Jeffersons, the Good Times, the Sanford and Sons,
yep.
the year span of those, I don't know off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
either do I. Either do I. I know
But
there's some overlap, but not a lot. Not
right,
a lot. Yeah.
and this was straight Brady Bunch. As soon as I saw it with the staircase, and I know that that's what they were going for,
Yep.
I was like, "Oh snap! It's a Brady Bunch," and I'm watching with my son, and I'm just explaining to him because they started with the intro to the show. They did the intro, which is pause.
Right.
Even how they run the credits on
Yep.
WandaVision, they do
Yep.
the WandaVision television show credits, and then
Yep.
they do the broader. This is
Yes.
WandaVision Marvel
Yep.
credits, which is very cool. You know
Very
what I mean?
impressive.
Very
Very
cool.
impressive. Yep.
They're really, really dedicated to this idea of this television show in real time,
Right.
which no, it's just dope. That's all I'm
It's it's
saying.
it's 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 the concept
Mm,
is phenomenal, and we'll talk more about when we talk about episode 4 when we get a little deeper into this. But yeah, the concept of this is just it's great.
yes,
Yes.
it's dope. It really is, and I keep saying it. I think I've said that all 3 episodes now. It's dope. It
Because it
really is.
is.
I
Nope.
mean, so I'm gonna expand my vocabulary. Hopefully this episode. Um, this is the episode when she's pregnant and she's progressing throughout the episode, getting more and more pregnant. It's time to deliver these kids,
By the hour.
right?
Right.
Which is what this episode is all about, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? It's all about, you know, her delivering these children, and how is this going to happen? Ha ha. Of course, behind the couch,
Well, that was, dude. I got to say something about that. The best part about this episode is how they use all the same tropes or tricks that we saw back in the day when someone would get pregnant on the show in
right,
real life, but they couldn't be pregnant. All I'm thinking about is Felicia Rashad on the Cosby Show. She always had a freaking plant in front of her, or was sitting down, or had something
right,
baggy, and they kept doing it, but it was, they were doing it like
right. She was trying to hide
tongue
it.
in cheek, right? They were winking like, "Hey, we know you." Yeah. That was
Right.
so good. It was so good.
Right. Good. Excellent point, dude. Excellent point. Yeah, man.
It's classic, dude. It's
It's classic.
classic.
And you're right. I'm so glad you brought that up because that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, okay, she's got the bowl in front of her. I was like, but, you know, back in those days,
That's the way
those
we did it.
simple,
Right.
whatever, you lived with it. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
In the same way that you lived with, lack of technology and creativity, where
Exactly.
what else did you know? You know what I
Yep.
mean? What
Yep.
else were you going to believe except
Yep.
anything that they showed you, which is kind of scary at the same time. But nonetheless,
Right.
I can appreciate it now. Um, Prior to the baby getting born, the babies, because there's twins that we know now, but
Which we should have gotten a clue to when it's the Brady Bunch ish. Like
right,
what? Yeah,
Right.
sorry.
Right. No, yeah.
Right.
Listen, and quickly back to that, I started singing the intro to Brady Bunch.
Marsha, Marsha,
I,
Marsha.
I surely did. Here's a story. I mean, I went into it and my son's looking at me like, what the hell was that in the dead? I'm like, dude, you wouldn't even understand.
Right.
I watched the Brady Bunch, but I was never like committed to it.
You didn't have to be to. It only takes a couple of episodes to get the Brady Bunch. I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of what is, to your point about the simplicity of things. 50s, 60s, 70s, it was a standard formula, and you did not have to watch. You got the story in one episode. Like, you didn't have to watch the first episode to know who was in the family, who was related to who, who the boss was. And like, you got that every episode. It was,
Yeah. And then prior to going back to WandaVision, we apologize, everybody. Bear with us. Vision's having a conversation with his neighbors at the driveway.
Yes.
And that conversation becomes awkward. And he begins to notice, which I think he has yet to realize. Well, he did when episode 1, when he was at his job and doing things.
He's had several times, yeah.
Yeah, asking questions about what is it that we do here, and what is it? He's wondering, kind of seeing things are weird. Fast forwarding, going back to the driveway scene, and his neighbors seem to know something that they are trying to hint to, especially the black guy.
And he's acting weird.
Yeah.
And he sawing the wall.
He was sawing the driveway barrier, the cement wall, which was weird. And then him and old girl were having a conversation out there, and then they said, "Hey, Vision," and they began to talk. And then there were 3 different realities kind of going on right there. Vision trying to figure out what was awkward. The 2 neighbors realizing there was something awkward. One was trying to still play along with this story. And the black guy is like, I want to tell him.
He's glitching.
What I mean?
Yeah,
I
he's
want
glitching.
to tell him.
Yep.
Like, yeah. And they were like, old girl, Geraldine, who's inside with Wanda while she's in labor. She doesn't have any family here. She's new to town. She's different.
Yep.
So you're seeing she's different. You're like, well, what the hell? And as this is all going on and they go back to the house, she has the one baby. Wanda delivers the one baby that's already wrapped.
It only came out at like 4 months old.
You know what I mean?
Fully well behaved.
Right. He's beautiful.
Right.
And then Vision comes back in, and Wanda and the doctor, I think, that Vision had brought back or whatever. I don't remember the exact sequence of events, but the other child is born. They realize they're having twins.
Yep.
And then Wanda recalls that she's a twin.
Bingo.
She's like, I was a twin. My brother, Pedro, and she starts singing what I thought was a childhood song.
Yep.
Some type of lullaby from Sokovia.
Sokovia. Damn, I was about to say Slovakia. Thank you, Sokovia. Yep.
Yeah. And, she's just kind of, again, in her own mind, in her own world at this time. And Geraldine turns to her and says, as Wanda's reminiscing about her brother, and again, starting to pick up those pieces, Geraldine is like, hey, your brother was killed by Ultron. And I was like,
yeah.
Okay, what in the hell is going on here?
And it's funny that you said in her own mind.
Yes. Stop. And Wanda gets extremely curious, almost offended that this woman knows her brother or said something about it. What did you say? And old girl kind of lost her words because I don't think she knew what she was saying.
Right.
You know what I mean? And she's like, wait, Wanda, no. And, she's kind of caught up and doesn't realize, just like in episode 3, when Wanda and her first met, she was like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Exactly.
It's that same reaction of her not really
I just remember the episode 1 moment is when they're at the dinner table and the boss is like, where are you guys from? Where did you meet? All that. Yeah, that's the first time it kind of tripped her up. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Yep.
And when Wanda, he starts choking and Wanda's like, Vision, help him. She's kind of like,
bingo. Bingo.
those out of body experiences happening.
Yep.
Coming back to episode 3, Wanda's like, "Yo, you got to leave. You know, I think you need to leave." And the girl's like, "But Wanda," and you know, Vision comes back in. He's like, Where did Geraldine go?" And she was like, "Yeah." She's like, "She had to go." You know, and Wanda's still in this daze, though. You know what I mean? She's not fully there.
She's very matter of fact about it, though. It's like
right. Yeah.
Or she said she had something she had to rush to get to, or something like that. I think it was even crazy. Yeah.
Right. And so Vision's kind of he's like not on board.
Right.
And then with a, wave of her wand, in a sense, pardon the pun, Wanda, she's like, "Oh, what are we going to watch on TV?" or whatever happens. And she kind of gets Vision refocused that they're a family. And, fine, they sit down and watch TV. And then we go to the next scene and we're outside of Westview. And there's a disruption in this field, if you will. And here comes Geraldine getting spewed out.
Scene from the trailer. Scene from the trailer. I did recognize that from the trailer.
Right. Yep. And she's thrown out, and she's got that red, Scarlet Witch energy about her as she's coming out, which I noticed.
Yep.
Thrown to the ground, and there's military folks pointing guns at her, helicopters you see. And Maury, going back to our Mandalorian episode, episode 1, the screen ratio switches from 16:9 switches to 16:9.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Which means
means we are back in real time.
Of Red Man, time for some action.
Time for some action.
You know what I mean? It's got real.
Yes.
That's how I was like, my hair, my arm stood up, and I was like, "Oh boy!"
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's on.
Now the fun begins. We have crossed the threshold.
Yep.
There's no turning back now. Now here is the biggest reveal so far, but you're only still getting, and they do wait till the end of the episode, of course. But if you notice, the military vehicles, the helicopter, I think there was, and there are these huge floodlights all around, and there's a distinct field, energy field, force field, as we used to say back in the day, going on, and then that's it.
Yep.
So Geraldine is she's kicked out the bubble.
Yep.
she's out the bubble now.
Can't come back in until you get tested.
You know what I mean? Geraldine's out of the bubble, and it's definitely a shift. It's a shift in what this show is trying to do.
Yep.
And where it's going. And it's kind of it reminded me of Thor. I guess it's the first Thor, where his hammer's there, and then all the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents come little by little, and there's this encampment about this hammer. That's what I was originally drawn back to.
When we talk about episode 4 and who appears in it, makes a whole lot of sense.
Stop it. You and your lack of patience. I tell you, man. And with that, that's episode 3.
That's episode 3.
Is there anything more? I think we hit all the points.
We did, yeah. Because it ended when she was cast out. She voted off the island. That was the end of Geraldine.
Yeah, that's the end of Geraldine. So here we are now, and now we're salivating. I'm salivating. I'm like, okay, give me more. And you know what? I'm gonna stop real quick because they tricked us with this 2-episode drop at the beginning, and I'm thinking like, okay, let's make this a pattern. Let's drop 2 episodes at a time. They're not doing that.
No, I think they made a good decision in doing the first 2 because,
absolutely,
to your point, they felt more like a 2 pieces of a whole,
right?
And I wouldn't be surprised if they originally had that as the pilot, and they probably chopped it down for a couple of reasons. One, if you set the precedent that we're going to have half-hour episodes, which I'm fully on board with.
Right.
You also you give a chance for people to understand that every episode wasn't going to be like that. Like, even though they didn't implicitly say that, like, we knew, okay, we're not going to sit here and watch 10, 13, however many episodes they end up doing of a modern day I Love Lucy. Like, I know they're not going to do that. But let me have the time to figure out where they're going with this. But enough time to do that and let that sink in, because I think that's a big part of the overall concept.
Absolutely. Well spoken. Well said. Absolutely. I agree 100%. So we're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back with episode 4. But until then, 3x5 presents. I'm the 3, Christopher Mark. He's the 5, Maury Batik. We appreciate you. We expect you back. Talk to us in the comments. Give us your feedback on episode 3. What we touched on, what we missed, how you feel. See you on episode 4.
Yelza. Bam.